Hi, welcome to our talk, and thanks to Torsten for inviting us to present at this year's ESA NADS meeting. I'm going to be talking to you today about the history and development of the North American Dipterists Society and our plans for the 10th International Congress of Dipterology in 2023. The idea of a North American Dipterists Society first took form at a gathering of dipterists during the 1987 ESA annual meeting in Boston. Everyone agreed that an official group was needed for organizing annual workshops and meetings. Their first planned event was a field day before the 18th International Congress of Entomology in Vancouver, BC the following year, to be followed by a field meeting in 1989. During the 1988 ICE in Vancouver, around 60 dipterists held an informal dipterist meeting with various talks and reports, and the idea of an organized society was voiced again. Everyone agreed to start an informal North American Dipterists Society, spirited by Steve Marshall in Canada and Chris Thompson in the US, with Art Borkent, Jeff Cumming, Steve Marshall, and Brian Brown agreeing to produce a newsletter for Nearctic dipterists. The first issue of the newsletter, dubbed the Fly Times, was published and distributed by mail soon after to many North American dipterists, and quickly became a primary mode of communication among the community. As planned, the first field meeting of the Society was held at Archbold Biological Station in Florida in 1989. There were 3 more field meetings held in Arizona, Texas, and Costa Rica in the following years. The Society went online shortly after the internet arrived in 1993, with the posting of the original directory of North American Dipterists in 1996 on the entomology page of the Agriculture Canada website. This directory was compiled by Jeff Cumming and Brian Brown, and has been kept up to date ever since. A few months later, the entomology page also began hosting the Fly Times as the newsletter of the Society. Up to this point, 17 issues had already been published in hard copy and distributed by mail to dipterists, but this was the first online issue. The first webpage dedicated to the Society appeared in mid-2003 with Jim O'Hara as webmaster and hosted on the University of Guelph web servers. This website has been a consistent resource for dipterists since that time and resulted in engagement with a broader international community of dipterists. The Society remained an informal organization with no constitution, governance, or elected officials. The main activities, all run by volunteers, were the annual informal meeting at the ESA, like this one we're having now, a field meeting every 2 years, and the publication of the Fly Times. Some additional resources were also introduced on the webpage, including web pages for the International Congresses of Dipterology, which have been served there ever since, as well as info on the Society's field meetings, some taxon-based pages, and links to the dipterological resources. Now let's fast forward to 2018 and the 9th International Congress of Dipterology in Namibia. A group of us from California successfully bid to host the 10th International Congress in the Sacramento area. With all of the work necessary to plan this meeting, we quickly realized we would need an actual organization behind us, as there would be contracts to sign with the associated liability. So Steve emailed a group of dipterists who had been active in the Society to see if they felt it was time to incorporate and become an official nonprofit organization. Though the idea had been tossed around before, this was the first time that there was both a critical need for an official organization and a person willing to do the legwork to make it happen. Everyone was supportive of the idea. Steve then approached Sean Martin and I about forming the board, which we gladly agreed to. So in late 2019, Steve took the first real steps, renting a PO box so the Society would have a mailing address, filing the Articles of Incorporation of a nonprofit with the California Secretary of State, and getting an employer identification number for the Society's tax purposes. Of course, there is much more to becoming recognized as a nonprofit, and this was just step 1 in a long process. Now began the grueling part of preparing the US Internal Revenue forms. So starting in January 2020, Steve spent the next 7 months dealing with the many things needed to form a successful application. Sean, Martin, and I helped along the way, but it was really Steve's gigantic effort that made it all happen. Besides the 40-page form itself, there were parts that needed extra explanation because, of course, we were dealing with Diptera. And so there were another 33 pages of supplemental responses that gave as much detail as possible. And the paperwork continued. We had to develop the Society bylaws, which are the controlling document for the Society. It contains the required legal aspects of running the society as a nonprofit, and this also needed to be submitted to the IRS. Another critical aspect of this whole application process, though it's only a single line in the IRS application, was the society website. We were told that having a public face was critical to having a good application, and not having an appropriate web presence would result in difficulty receiving a nonprofit status. Although the informal society had a dedicated web presence dating back to 2003, there was a need for a refresh. So another part of the 7-month prep time was spent developing this new website. Steve developed this pretty quickly, and it served its purpose of showing the IRS what we plan to do as a nonprofit. But Steve was not happy with the end product, so afterwards he decided to redo the website from scratch. This resulted in its current beautiful form seen here. I'd now like to spend some time talking about the website and the resources that it makes available, and encourage you all to join or otherwise support this new society. The following are a couple of specific resources we provide to the Dipterist community. First, we've started a directory of world Dipterists with about 100 Dipterists currently registered. This should grow as more people become aware of it. We started from scratch to make sure that only people who wanted to be in the directory are there, and that we have the most up-to-date information on them. Signing up to be in the directory is as simple as going to the sign-up page and filling out the form. We also have a Dipterist mailing list server with 650 members currently. This is a communication tool for announcements, opportunities, updates on meetings like the International Congress of Dipterology, and anything else Diptera related. We hope the use of this resource will grow considerably over time. The Society currently has 3 publications: the Fly Times Supplement, and Maya. Fly Times has been published twice a year since its inception in 1988, currently with 66 issues, all of which are available online. The Fly Times Supplement was started in 2017 as a forum for larger works and is intermittently published, currently with 3 issues also online. And finally, Maya, which was initially published by Paul Arnaud. In 1998, with Volume 9, Maya became an official publication of the North American Dipterists Society, thanks to the efforts of Chris Thompson. This has also been an intermittent publication, currently with 12 volumes, with the last one published 10 years ago. We are hoping that with this new society presence, we can kickstart this publication series again. We are also planning to have a robust grants and awards program, including travel grants, research grants, and awards. These will be open to students and non-student Dipterists to support various aspects of their studies. The travel grants will be offered to attend various dipterological activities, such as scientific meetings, field courses, and identification workshops. The research grants will facilitate research and field work to address research questions in dipterology, whether studying flies in museums or making field observations and collections. We also have an extensive list of resources of interest to Dipterists, which we are happy to add to and adjust. There are links to the taxon-specific resources, as well as general resources for collections and types, literature reference collections, regional checklists, databases, catalogs, societies, and much more. As examples of some of the unique content, several Diptera-related newsletters are now available online for the first time. This includes the Flyer, a short-lived newsletter from the 1980s, the Pacific Basin Diptera News, a newsletter for Australasian Dipterists published from the late 80s to early 90s, and Surfos, the short-lived newsletter for and about Surfed workers. And since the Society is hosting the upcoming 10th International Congress of Dipterology, we also host the website for ICDX. We also developed a social media presence on Facebook and Twitter in order to reach a broader audience who would be interested in information on Diptera and hopefully further grow the ranks of the Society. Before moving on to discussing the upcoming ICDX, we want to encourage the international community of Dipterists to consider joining the Society. Our only means of support to do all the things we've planned to benefit the community is through membership and support of our fellow Dipterists. We will need a healthy membership to make things happen, so I hope you'll all join up. I'm now going to switch gears and give you all a brief overview of the upcoming International Congress of Dipterology. International Congresses of Dipterology are held every 4 years and are supported by the 50-member International Council of Dipterology. There have been 9 congresses so far, starting in Hungary in 1986, with the last being in Namibia in 2018. This 10th International Congress will be the first time it is held in the USA. The organizing committee consists of 8 dipterists representing 3 different California institutions and a wide diversity of Diptera and Diptera questions. We'll have a number of plenary speakers on Diptera topics ranging from agriculture and pollination dipterology to medical dipterology, phylogeny, evolution, paleontology, and ecology. We also plan to have a number of symposia encompassing the diverse array of research that goes into Diptera across the board, from behavior to systematics and everything in between. The Congress logo was designed by Caleb Marion at the CDFA and is based on the endemic and endangered Californian mydid species, Raphiomydis terminatus abdominalis. It was the first fly to be added to the endangered species list and was restricted to the Delhi sand dunes of Southern California. And it makes a great image for our logo, which will be available on shirts and mugs. Reno, Nevada was chosen as the host city as it has all of the necessary amenities, an international airport, lots of hotels and conference venues, and many dining options, as well as other areas of entertainment. It is also much more economical than similar options in California. The conference itself will be held at the Silver Legacy Resort, which has many hotel rooms and substantial conference facilities to accommodate multiple concurrent sessions. A wide diversity of habitats can be found within a day's drive of the conference site, from the deserts of Nevada to the lush redwood rainforests of northwestern California and everything in between. For those interested in collecting in these habitats before or after the Congress, please check the website for information on required permits. For those interested in visiting and working in collections before or after the meetings, a large number of important collections are within striking distance, including the various University of California museums, the California Academy of Sciences, the California State Collection of Arthropods, and the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. Several post-Congress tours are also being planned, including a wine tour of California's substantial offerings in Napa and Sonoma and Amador counties. We also plan a tour of the world-famous Yosemite National Park, where participants can hike and take in amazing vistas and experience the giant sequoias. There is also the beautiful Pacific seashore close by, and we plan a tour of Monterey, where participants can visit the world-renowned Marine Science Center, go whale watching, and partake in the many great dining opportunities. I hope that you all come and be part of the Congress, and also that you all consider joining the Society. You can scan these QR codes if you want more information on either the Society or the Congress. And I hope that you will all join us in building the Diptera Society and making it and the Congress a success. Thank you very much.